So someone is planning, inviting guests, setting up everything, and they try to get the birthday person to come into that area without knowing anything. And they walk in, and then everybody jumps up and says, "Surprise." So I'm curious, have you ever had a birthday for you? Have you ever helped to participate in a surprise birthday? I don't think that I ever have. But one time when I was in college, my friends threw a surprise birthday party for me and another friend who has the same birthday. And I didn't want to go. I said, "I'm studying. I have a test. I can't go down there. I'm not going to go have dinner with you guys. No, I need to study." And then one of my friends finally realized that I wasn't coming. She said, "Hey, Sophia, it's a surprise birthday for you. Come on." So I had no choice at that point, because I realized, oh, they're doing something nice for me. So you might say, we're throwing a party for Sophia. It's a surprise party. Don't tell her. Well, unless you can't get her to come. Next, let's talk about some common phrases that are just associated with birthdays. The first one is RSVP. Now, this is occasionally something that we use in spoken conversation, but it is more common on a written invitation. It could be a physical invitation, or it might be an internet invitation using Facebook events or something like this. RSVP stands for the French Répondez s'il vous plaît, and it means, please respond, please tell me if you're coming. So usually you will see this sentence, RSVP by June 30th, RSVP by Saturday, or whatever date. There's a deadline. Please tell me if you're coming so that I can order the right amount of cake or make the right amount of food. This is just a polite thing to do to RSVP. Wonderful. Another common phrase for birthdays or for parties is BYOB. What if I said, dinner and cake are provided BYOB? What would that mean to you? Bring your old bag? Bring your old balloon? No, this means bring your own beer or bring your own booze. Booze is a slang term for drink, so this means I am not providing drink. If you want to drink syrup, bring what you want to drink. Bring it for yourself. This is very common, and it's not really rude. In fact, it's good to tell guests if they are allowed to drink at your house and you're not going to provide any. It's good to tell them, I don't have any. Bring your own. BYOB. This is quite a common expression, especially in an invitation. You might see that written, dinner and cake provided, BYOB. Excellent. Make a wish. Usually after we sing happy birthday, you blow out the candles, close your eyes, and you make a wish. There's a superstition that if you tell people your wish, it will never come true. So usually it's a surprise. I will never tell you what my birthday wishes are because it probably won't come true then. So this is a superstition. But you might say, after I blow out the candles, I'm going to make a wish. Often you will hear people say this. So after they sing happy birthday and you blow out the candles, someone will say, all right, make a wish. And they're telling you, this is the time to make a wish. This sometimes happens at children's parties more often, where someone will say it. So they're reminding their child, this is the time to make a wish, close your eyes, and make a wish. Don't tell anyone. So this is a fun little tradition, I would say. A goodie bag. This is a little plastic bag of, in my opinion, usually junk that is given to all of the kids at a children's birthday party. I'm not a big fan of goodie bags because they're usually made up of junk. It's stuff that comes from the dollar store, and parents feel some social pressure to give out a goodie bag at their child's birthday party. But usually those things just end up in the trash. So for me, I would rather do a craft at the birthday, and the children can take home the craft. Or maybe there's an extra cupcake, and the children can take home a cupcake. This seems a little bit better to me. I think that the idea of a goodie bag is falling out of tradition a bit, but there's still a little pressure to give something to your guests. This is only for children's birthdays, to give something to your guests. A sweet 16. If I said, I can't believe your daughter is already old enough to have her sweet 16. How old do you think that she is? 16 years old. For some reason, 16 is a big number. I think this is because this is when you can get your driver's license in the US. So it's usually just for girls. I hate to say it, but usually teenage boys who are 16 years old aren't usually labeled as sweet. Maybe that was just my experience when I was a teenager, but usually a 16-year-old girl might have a sweet 16 party. And this is a big birthday bash to celebrate turning 16. The next big birthday is turning 21, and this is for anyone, boys or girls. And this is a big birthday because you can finally legally drink. So a lot of people will have a 21st birthday party with their friends where they get to go to a bar, or they go to a pub, or they go to a brewery or a restaurant, and they get to drink in public. That's not to say that nobody drinks before 21, but usually your 21st birthday is a symbol of, now I am an adult. There you go. After 21, you have to wait a long time for your next birthday. If I said, I don't feel that old, but somehow I'm already over the hill, what do you think over the hill means? Well, the average lifespan is about 80 years. I think now it's a little bit more than 80 years old, but what is halfway? 40. So this birthday is a little bit dark, a little bit depressing, but we say that when you turn 40 years old, you are over the hill. And any time after 40, if you don't want to tell someone your age, you can just say, I'm over the hill, or I'm way over the hill, because you are past the peak of life. And now you're just going down the other side. Very sad. So usually if you go to the grocery store and you buy any kind of balloons or birthday bags or birthday decorations for a 40th birthday, they all are black or gray or have to do with gravestones or skeletons. It's a little bit silly because obviously when you're 40, you're still young, but it's just this silly idea that now, oh, you're over the hill. Our last birthday expression before we get to some common birthday questions is a trip around the sun. This is just another fun way to say that you are 1 year older. So if somebody is having a birthday, you could tell them, congrats on another successful trip around the sun. They have successfully gone around the sun one more time, which is 1 more year. Congrats on a successful trip around the sun. You did it. All right, let's go on to some common questions that you might get asked on your birthday, or you could ask someone else on their birthday, and we'll talk about some common answers as well. Any plans for your birthday? This is an extremely common question. If someone asks you, any plans for your birthday? You could say, yep, we're planning a big bash this weekend. It's going to be exciting. Or, no, We're just going to have a small gathering with a couple of friends. Excellent. Any plans for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday? This is a great question to ask if you know that you will also be included in the birthday plans. If you are a family member or a close friend who will help to organize the birthday activities, you can use this question, what do you want to do for your birthday? That is asking, hey, what should I plan for your birthday? And you could say, yeah, I'd like to have just a small get-together at the house. Maybe we can have a cookout, maybe some cake, just a small get-together. A little bird told me it was your birthday. What would you like? This expression, a little bird told me, is almost a universal idea. I think a lot of languages have this concept of hearing something from a little bird. You're not saying who told you, but you're just saying, a little bird told me that it was your birthday or that your birthday is coming soon. Do you have this type of expression in your native language? It's a great one to use for birthdays. You could just say, a little bird told me it's your birthday. What would you like? You're asking for a present idea. What kind of present should I give you? And an answer to that could be, yup, my birthday is coming up on Saturday, but instead of a present, I'm asking that everyone bring some food or drink to the party. Okay, you don't need presents. You don't need more stuff. You're just asking that people bring food and drinks to your party. Simple, and it's a good way to give at a party and participate. How old will you be? Or maybe if it's on someone's birthday, oh, how old are you now? Don't ask an adult this. I would say after the age of 21, usually it's not a good idea to ask someone, how old are you? Or how old will you be? In American culture, it is quite rude to ask someone their age when they're an adult. For a child, it's no problem. Children love telling people their age. Usually, they're very specific, like, I'm 7.5, or I'm 8 3/4. They're very specific about their age because they're so proud of it. But once we become adults, we become a little bit more hesitant to share our age, especially with anybody. And it's not required in social circumstances to say your age. So I recommend asking, how old are you now? Or how old will you be? Only to children. When someone invites you to a party, you can ask, is it a surprise party? That way, you can avoid being the one who spoils the surprise. Maybe they forgot to tell you, oh, it's a surprise party. So it's a good thing to ask, is this a surprise party? And they might say, oh no, he knows about it. Or they might say, oh, yes, it is. Don't tell him. It's a great question to ask, is it a surprise party? Do you need me to bring anything? Can I bring anything? This is a great question to ask any time that you go to someone's house for dinner, for a meal, for even just tea or coffee, and especially for a birthday party or a holiday gathering. It's great to ask, do you need me to bring anything? Or what can I bring? I ask this all the time, and I really appreciate it when my guests ask this, because maybe it would be nice if someone else made the salad, or someone else made a dish for the meal, or maybe even someone just brought a game or something to do. This can help to ease the burden of the person who is throwing the party or just having a holiday gathering. So this is a great question to ask. I highly recommend it. And if someone asks you, can I bring anything? You can think, okay, well, yeah, maybe bring your own booze. Or, yeah, do you have a favorite board game? Maybe after dinner we could play a game, bring a game. Or, could you make a salad? Could you make a dessert? Not even make, could you just bring one? You can buy it. That's okay. But this kind of question can help to have everyone feel like they're participating in the evening. All right. Now that we've practiced some common expressions for birthdays, some common questions for birthdays, let's go on to our conversation. I'd like you to see this sample conversation that I had with my husband, Adam, about birthdays. You're going to recognize a lot of these questions, a lot of the expressions about birthdays. Listen to this conversation carefully because in just a minute, Adam will leave, and I will be asking you those questions, and it will be your turn to speak out loud. Let's watch the sample conversation. Sophia. Hey, Adam. Adam. Hey, Sophia. Adam. You have a birthday coming up, don't you? Sophia. Yup, pretty soon. Another trip around the sun. Adam. Cool. Do you have any plans for your birthday? Sophia. Yeah, I'm going to have a big birthday bash. I would love for you to come. I can send you an invitation. Adam. That sounds fun. Do you need me to bring anything? Sophia. You can bring your favorite party game and a big appetite for cake. All the other details will be in the invitation. Adam. Sounds great. I'll be there. Sophia. Great. See you then. Okay, you watched the sample conversation. Now it's time to take a deep breath and practice this yourself. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and I will pause. I will be listening to you no matter where you live around the world. I will be listening and we will be having this conversation. If it seems too fast for you, if you want to try it again, the good news is that you can click pause on the video and go back and practice it again. No problem. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hey, a little bird told me that your birthday is coming up. Do you have any plans? That sounds like fun. Is it a birthday tradition or is that something new? Cool. I would love to come. Can I bring anything? Great. I'll be there. I can't wait to celebrate another trip around the sun. So, how did you do with this little sample conversation? I hope that it was a good challenge for you and it helped to boost your confidence in speaking in English. That is the goal. You can always go back and review this. Let's learn some common vocabulary about animals and pets. Let's start by describing you. Can you describe yourself? I'm an animal lover. This means that you love all kinds of animals. You might say, ever since I first visited a zoo as a child, I have been an animal lover. I just love all animals. Or if you would like to be a little more specific, you could say, I'm a cat person. I'm a dog person. Usually we keep it to cats and dogs, but you might say, I'm a horse person. Does that mean that you have a cat head? I am a cat person. No. This just means that that is your preferred pet. You like cats. So for me, if you've been watching my English lessons for a while, you know I am a cat person. I've never had a dog, but I feel like I relate more to cats. I get along better with cats, and I feel more comfortable with cats. But maybe for you, you might say, I'm a dog person. I would rather have a dog. Or maybe you have this unfortunate situation. You are allergic to dogs. Or maybe you might say, I'm allergic to cat fur. I love them. They're so cute and cuddly. And I wish I could have a cat, but I'm allergic. If your eyes start to get red and your nose starts to run, maybe your throat hurts, that's a bad sign. It means that you are allergic to some kind of animal. Maybe you can take some simple medicine and you'll be fine. But sometimes it's a bigger problem than that, and you just can't have a cat. You can't have a dog. I hope you're not allergic. Now let's describe your pet. But a little note. First of all, something that I've noticed that's different between English and some other languages is that when we're talking about our pets, or someone else's pet, we use he or she. We don't use it very often because it feels like you are creating some distance or it's a wild animal, or you don't really care about that animal. It's just an object. It. So, for example, if I'm going to tell you about my cat, little spoiler, I have a cat, I might say, she is a Siamese cat. If I say, I have a cat, it's Siamese. It's okay, and you will hear this occasionally, but it's more common to hear he or she. She's a Siamese. She likes to play with cat toys. He or she. And if you're not certain if an animal is a he or a she, like if you see a neighbor's dog and you want to talk to that neighbor about their dog, you can just say he, and it's okay. The neighbor will maybe correct you and say, oh yes, she's a poodle. And then you can say, oh yes, what's her name? And you can use her when you find out. But in general, we use he or she for pets. A common word we use to describe pets is breed. What breed is your pet? But we often just say kind. What kind is it? So when we're talking about a dog or a cat, there are different types. So I already mentioned my cat is a Siamese cat. This is a specific type or breed of cat. What breed is your cat? He's a Siamese. She's a Siamese. What breed is it? But we often use the question, what kind is it? Which we'll talk about in our question section in a minute. Another common term used with pets is a rescue. This is describing your pet. Both of my cats are rescues. I got them from an animal shelter. This means that I didn't buy them from a breeder who is making purebred cats. No, I went to the animal shelter. These are abandoned cats who need a home. I went to the animal shelter and I adopted. We often use the word adopted. I adopted 2 cats. They are rescue cats, or they are rescues. And this is the idea that I rescued them. Sometimes in the US, you see a bumper sticker, something like this that says, "My dog rescued me." Have you ever felt like this? Maybe you saved your dog from the animal shelter, but really your dog changed your life. Your dog rescued you. You might also hear the word mutt. Mutt can be a little negative if you say it with a negative voice, but it just means that you're not certain what kind of dog you have. We only use this for dogs, and it means, well, it's a mix of so many different types of dogs that I have no idea. He's a mutt. We got him from the animal shelter, but you know what? He's the best dog I've ever had. He's a mutt, but I don't care. So it's that idea that he's not pure. He's not a purebred dog. He's a mix of so many kinds of dogs, but you know what? It's still a great animal. Next is fur and coat. My cat's fur is so soft. After I give my dog a bath, he has a silky coat. He's not wearing a coat. It's just talking about his fur, and these words are interchangeable. He has soft fur. He has a silky coat. They're great words to talk about animal hair. Let's talk about some words we can use to talk about how friendly an animal is. The first one is just friendly. He is friendly. You'll often hear this as someone is walking their dog, and if their dog wants to come closer to you, the owner might say, "Oh, don't worry, he's friendly. He loves little kids." And your child can pet the dog, or you might ask, "Is he friendly?" And that means, "Can I pet him?" So it's a great word to use to talk about if your dog is comfortable with people. He's friendly. He's not very friendly with little kids, so we'll just try to stay away. There are 3 words that are variations of this. One is wild. Lions are wild. They are not friendly towards people. I do not recommend trying to pet a lion. They are wild. The next level is stray. We might say, "That cat is a stray cat," or "He's a stray." And that means that he lives on the streets, and maybe he'll come close to people to get some food. He might not really hurt you, but he doesn't want to live in your house. Maybe if you adopt him, he'll want to live in your house, but he doesn't have an owner. He's a stray. He's a stray cat. Some cities around the world have a lot of stray cats or stray dogs. They don't belong to anyone, but everyone helps to take care of them. Everyone helps to feed them. In the US, this isn't very common. We don't have a lot of stray cats or a lot of stray dogs because animal shelters are a big part of American culture. A lot of people, when they want a pet, will go to an animal shelter instead of buying a purebred dog or a purebred cat. So a lot of stray dogs or stray cats who live on the street will be taken to an animal shelter for someone to adopt. So you might say, "My cat was a stray before we got him. He was a stray cat before we got him, and now he's just so friendly." The next level is domesticated. This means a cat or dog or animal that was previously wild, and now he's very comfortable with humans. So we could use this for a lot of different animals like cows. Cows are domesticated. A long time ago, they were completely wild, like horses. Horses were completely wild, but they have become domesticated. Over time, people have trained them to become comfortable with humans. They are domesticated. We often use this term for farm animals, like horses, cows, chickens, sheep, and goats. They are domesticated animals. Some animals just can't be domesticated, like a zebra. You can't ride a zebra. You can't domesticate zebras. It would be pretty cool, but they're just an animal that cannot be domesticated. Before we go on to some common questions that you will hear and that you can ask about pets, let's talk about pet care and some words that you can use to describe pet care. A cage, a crate, and a kennel are all the same thing. They are places where you can keep your animal contained. So you might say, "I put my ferret," some people have a ferret for a pet, "in the crate to take it to the vet," which we'll talk about in just a second. But it's a type of box where you will keep your animals, maybe to transport them somewhere, or maybe just to help them feel safe and comfortable. We have a big kennel for my dog to help him feel comfortable when guests come over. He goes in there and he feels comfortable. And then when the guests leave, he comes out and feels very safe. A collar and tag go around your animal's neck and have some important information like the pet's name, your phone number, and maybe your address. If your pet gets lost, someone can help you find your pet again by calling you with the number that's on the tag on their collar. A collar is also useful because you can attach a leash to the collar. Sometimes this is called a lead. I think that lead is maybe more a term that professional people, like a veterinarian or a dog trainer, will use. But for daily conversation, we often just say, leash. Where's the leash? I need to find the dog's leash so that I can take him on a walk. One time, I saw somebody having an iguana on a leash. Sometimes people put their cats on a leash too, but usually cats don't tolerate that. Have you ever seen a strange animal on a leash before? A vet or veterinarian, usually we shorten this to vet, is the doctor for an animal. So you might say, I need to take my sick dog to the vet. Or, what is the best vet to take my dog to? We're talking about a veterinarian, but in this situation, we don't use the longest word. We just use a short, simple version. Yes, finally, in English, there is a simple way to say a long word. So you can just say, vet. My cat's vet is just up the street. Or, we have a vet appointment next week. Excellent. Now, I just want to let you know, if this is your job, if you are a vet, and someone asks you the common question, what do you do? Which means, what's your job? And you say, I'm a vet. Well, this might be slightly confusing if someone has no idea that you work with animals because a vet can mean two different things. It can mean a veterinarian, or it can mean a veteran. A veteran is someone who used to be a soldier, someone who used to be in the military and is now retired. So that means you could either be an animal doctor or a retired person from the military. So if someone knows that you work with animals or that you're a doctor, and they ask, what kind of doctor? You could say, I'm a vet. They will know that you work with animals. But if someone has no clue, you might say, I'm a veterinarian. You might elongate that a little bit just to be more specific. Or if you are a vet from the military, you might say, I'm a retired veteran. Or, I'm a retired vet. I was in the Navy. You might want to be a little more specific. That's a situation that might possibly come up. What can you do to bond with your animal? You might play fetch, so you could say, my cat likes to play fetch. Who would have guessed? Usually dogs do, but sometimes cats do too. Or you could just say this word to your dog, you have a stick. You throw the stick, and your dog runs after the stick. You could say, fetch boy, fetch the stick. So you're giving him a command about what he should do, get the stick, and bring it back to you. This is a fun game. Or you might just pet your pet. This word can be used as a noun, as we've been talking about it. I have 9 pets. But what is this gentle touching of your pet? This is the verb to pet. When you are stroking or just gently touching your animal, this is a very kind, nice thing to do. You are petting your pet. So if you're walking down the street and someone is walking a dog, and that dog seems friendly, the dog wants to talk with you, and the owner says, oh, don't worry, he's friendly. You can say, "Can I pet him?" Great. That means that you can stroke his head, his back, or under his chin. And it's a nice way to enjoy a dog and to connect with each other. Okay. Are you ready to go on to some common questions that people will ask you about your pets and that you can also ask? Let's do it. Do you have any pets? This is a very simple and straightforward question. You might say, "When I was a kid, I had a dog, but now I don't have any pets." This is just answering in a nicer way than just saying, "No, I don't have any pets." You're giving some information. When I was a kid, I had a dog, and now I don't have any pets. Good answer. When you see a dog, a common question is, what kind is he? We're talking about the breed of dog. What kind is he? It's sometimes unusual to see a purebred dog that's only one kind, only one breed. So you'll often hear this type of answer. He's a lab mix. We got him at the animal shelter. He's a mix. This means he has two different, or maybe three or four different, types of dogs in his blood. So we could say he's a mix, or he's a lab mix, and this means he comes from different types of breeds. Another question is, what's his name? Of course, you can just say your pet's name, but I wanted to give you some of the most common female pet names and also some of the most common male pet names in English. The most common female pet names are Bella, Luna, Lucy, Daisy, and Coco. There are many other pet names for female dogs, cats, horses, or who knows what, but these are some of the most common. In fact, one of my cat's names is Luna. Some of the most common male pet names are Max, Buddy, Teddy, Rocky, and Duke. These are really common male pet names in the US. A question we already talked about is he friendly? Great. Someone might ask you this if you have a dog, and you're welcome to ask someone else this if you want to pet a dog. Is he friendly? Yes, you can pet him. Another common question is, how long have you had him? Maybe this is not asking how old he is, but how long he has been a part of your life. You might say, I got Max from the animal shelter 3 years ago. How long have you had him? I've had him for 3 years. If you mention that your dog, or someone else mentioned that their dog, is a specific breed, you could ask this question. What made you decide to get that breed? Maybe you're just curious about that breed. You're trying to have a conversation. Or maybe you're thinking about getting a dog too, and you want more information. So you could say, what made you decide to get that breed? And if somebody has, for example, a lab, which is a Labrador retriever, they might say, well, I heard that labs are family-friendly dogs, so we decided to get one. They have a reputation for being good with kids, for being friendly. They're family-friendly, so we decided to get one. All right. Now that we've practiced some common vocabulary about pets, some common questions about pets, now I'd like to show you a sample conversation between my husband Adam and me, talking about some pets. After the sample conversation, it will be your turn to speak with me and tell me about your pets, or maybe the pets that you wish you had. After that will be the big reveal of my 9 pets. All right, let's watch the sample conversation. Hi, Adam. Is that your dog? I thought you were a cat person. Adam. Hey, Sophia. I'm an animal lover, but Fluffy's not mine. I'm just walking him for a friend. Sophia. Oh, gotcha. Is he friendly? Can I pet him? Adam. Yes, he's friendly. You can pet him, but watch out. He drools. Sophia. Oh, good to know. Well, I'll stick to my non-drooling cats. Oh, but good boy, Fluffy. Adam. I'm going to walk him at the park to play fetch. Want to come? Sophia. Sure. Okay, now it's your turn. I'm going to be asking you a couple of questions, and then I'm going to pause. You can speak out loud and try to answer these questions, pretending we're having a conversation together. If you feel like the pause is too short, feel free to pause the video. That's one of the exciting things about having a video conversation. You can pause and take extra time to explain what you want to say. All right. Are you ready? Take a deep breath. Let's do it. Hi. I didn't know you had a pet. What kind is he? Interesting. How long have you had him? That's so nice. I've been thinking about getting one too. What do you like to do with him? Thanks for your help, and nice to meet you. So, how did you do? Are you ready to talk about your pets now? I hope so. I hope I've empowered you to speak more comfortably about this common conversation topic. And now, drum roll. It's time to meet my 9 pets. Are you ready? This is Pippin. He's a tuxedo cat. This isn't a breed, but it just describes his coloration. And this is Luna. She's a Siamese, but we got them both from a shelter, so she's probably not a purebred Siamese. My other 7 pets are chickens. They're only 2 months old, but aren't they so big? Unfortunately, we have to wait until October, until they start producing eggs. I can't wait. My husband Adam built their coop. That's the little house where they live. And this area is called the Run. It's a safe area for them to be outside without getting eaten by wild animals, we hope. We got them when they were 1 day old. Look how cute they were. This is a new adventure for us to have farm animals, but I can't wait to get some fresh eggs. It's a great thing to do with kids. Go down to the chicken coop in the morning and gather the eggs. I can't wait. That'll be so much fun. All right, let's get started with some common vocabulary about jobs. The first category has to do with employment. We'll talk about unemployment later. You might say, my day job is in an office, but I'm taking some night classes to become a nurse. This expression, my day job, usually means your primary job, the way that you make the most money. It could imply that it's during the day, but if you happen to work a night shift, you can still say, my day job. This is my main job and how I make money. It's my day job. Another way to talk about your main job is to say, my 9 to 5 is in a marketing firm. My 9 to 5 talks about the hours that you work, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. You might work different hours, like 7 a.m. to 4 p.m., or in the afternoon or evening, but we still use my 9 to 5 to talk about your primary job. My 9 to 5er. There is a new movement talking about this expression, and it's often about how people don't like their 9 to 5ers. It implies that it's just a job, something they're not satisfied with. People who don't enjoy their 9 to 5 might find articles online that say, want to ditch your 9 to 5 how? Here's how to find your dream job. Sometimes in this modern age, 9 Dao to 5 Dao implies that it's just a job. I don't really care about it. It's my 9 Dao to 5 Kao. It's just a way to make money, but it's not really your passion. It's my 9 Gao to 5 Dao. What about jobs that are not your primary money-making job? You can use a lot of different expressions. We could call those jobs a gig, a side gig, a hustle, a side hustle, or you might just say, I do it on the side. Let's imagine you make earrings, but it's not your 9 to 5 sak. It's not your primary job. You might say, I do it on the side. I make earrings on the side. Or you could say, I have a side gig making earrings. This is not your primary job, but it's something you do and still make some money from. But it's not your primary job. If you don't work 40 hours a week at a job, then you have a part-time job. In the US, 40 hours per week is considered a full-time job. But a lot of jobs are part-time jobs. You might say, yep, I work a part-time job on the weekends at a restaurant. I work a part-time job. Maybe it's your main way of making money. You just work fewer hours. Or maybe it's just a side thing, or you're also a student and have a part-time job at the same time. That's a great way to describe something where you work less than 40 hours a week. Now, let's talk about unemployment. Unfortunately, over the last few years, a lot of people became unemployed. This is really scary. You don't know how you're going to survive, feed your family, or take care of your future. You might be laid off. Laid off means you didn't personally do something wrong, but the company either cut your position or couldn't pay for you anymore. It's not something personal. It's usually a problem within the company. When a company is suffering, usually financially, or they change their whole system and don't need some people anymore, they might lay you off. This is a great phrasal verb. Of course, you don't want it to happen to you, but it's a great phrasal verb to know to explain the situation because it's not that you were fired. To be fired means you did something wrong and they said, sorry, you can't work here anymore. Maybe you were late to work too many times. You got fired. This is different from being laid off. When you're laid off, it's not your fault. And it's not embarrassing to say, man, I was laid off during the pandemic. That's not embarrassing. That's fine. It's not your fault. But if you say, I was fired, there's usually a little bit of embarrassment because it means there was a problem. We can also say, I lost my job. This is a little more indirect than being fired. It might be because you did something wrong. I was late to work so many times that I lost my job. This means you were fired, but you didn't directly say that. But it could also mean that you were just laid off. During the pandemic, I lost my job. That's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. There were just problems with the economy, problems with the world in general. So you lost your job. This expression, to lose my job, can be used either way. It can be used if you get fired or if you get laid off. Now let's talk about how you feel about your job. Let's imagine you're a waiter at a restaurant. You might say, I'm a waiter, but it's just a job. I'm looking for something else. It's just a job. This is a common expression to talk about a job that you don't really love. It's not your dream job. This is the opposite. if you love your work. For me, I love being your teacher. I love being able to be your teacher online too. It's a really great combination. Great for you, I can reach a lot of people, and also my life can have a lot of flexibility. Working online as your English teacher is my dream job, but there can also be some problems with work. You might say, it's hard to find a good work-life balance. This expression, a work-life balance, is often used when you're working so much, or maybe like me, you work from home, so it's hard to have a good line between your personal life and your work life. So maybe if you've been working a lot, you might say, I just need to take a break and find a better work-life balance. That's really important. If you've been working a lot, maybe you've even been studying a lot, you might face burnout. Burnout doesn't have to do with fire, but it kind of has the sense that your figurative flame and love of your job have gone out. If you experience burnout, it means the thing that was your dream job, the thing that you felt passionate about, you no longer feel passionate about. This might be temporary. This happens to a lot of people like me who create content on YouTube. You have to be creative and come up with a lot of ideas, and sometimes there aren't many good ideas. Maybe I just have some kind of temporary writer's block and don't come up with a good idea, and I feel overwhelmed. Well, that might mean I am burnt out. I am experiencing burnout, or we might say, I'm burnt out. I'm burnt out on my job. I've been working 12 hours a day for the last 3 weeks. I'm burnt out. I need a break. I hope you can avoid this before it gets too serious, but it's something that's really common if you're working too much or if you're studying too much. Now, let's talk about 4 common phrases for describing your job. Just a little note. A while ago, I made a video, 100 Jobs in English. So, if you'd like to learn how to pronounce your job, or if you'd like more information about specific jobs in English, you can check out that video and get some more details about that. But let's talk about 4 common phrases to talk about what you do. You might say, I am a teacher, I am a doctor, I'm a healthcare worker, I'm a construction worker, I'm a designer. Whatever you might be, I am. But we could also say, I work in plus a field. I work in education. I work in healthcare. I work in business. I work in marketing. So here we have a general term. It doesn't talk about your specific position, but it's a common expression used when you're describing your job. I work in education. Maybe you're not specifically a teacher. Maybe you help to create a curriculum. Or maybe there's something complex that you don't want to explain. You might just say, I work in education. Cool. You can also talk about the company you work for. I work for Amazon. I work for Google. Especially if this is a well-known company, even if it's just well-known locally, this is a common expression you might use. Yeah, I work for Samsung. I work for Duke Power, which is the power plant in my city. If I said this to someone who lived in France, they would have no idea what I was talking about because this is a local business. But if I said that to someone locally, they would understand exactly. So it's all about the context here. What if you have your own business? What if you run your own business? You can use that expression, to run. For me, I run my own business. We could say, I run an online education business. That means I teach online, but it also means I'm the CEO, the boss. I wear all the hats. I run a business. So we could use this for many different situations as long as you are the entrepreneur, the one in charge of the business. I run a business. Before we get to our sample conversation, of course, we need to talk about some common job questions. This is essential for daily conversation because usually these are the questions we use in small talk. That's why this topic is really important to know about. One of the most common small talk questions after you say, "Hey, my name's Sophia. Oh, nice to meet you," is, "What do you do?" The full expression for this is possibly, "What do you do for work?" But we often just say, "What do you do?" This doesn't mean I'm sitting here right now, talking to you. What are you doing right now? This means, what's your job? What do you do? So you might use one of those expressions we talked about earlier and say, "Oh, I work for Google. I work in marketing." Awesome. What do you do? Or what do you do for work? When you tell someone what you do, if they are a good conversationalist, they might ask more questions. You could ask this question too. What's that like? So you're asking about their experience. What's it like to be a nurse in the hospital these days? You might say, well, I like the doctor I work for, but it's been really intense lately and it's not my dream job. I really want to be a photographer for foster animals and help them find a new home. That's what I would love to do. I'd love to get into photography. Well, here you just answered the question, what's that like? With a lot of juicy details that can further the conversation more. So when you ask someone, what's that like? If they give you some details, don't miss that opportunity. You can pull any of those details and say, oh, you like foster animals. Have you ever had any foster animals? Oh, I have a dog too. And you can kind of snowball the conversation. This is a great way to get more information and learn about someone else. If you're talking with someone you already know, maybe you think you know what work they do, but you're not sure, or you haven't talked with them for a while. You might ask this question, where are you working these days? These days means now, but if you haven't seen someone for 5 years, maybe you knew what their previous job was, and you're trying to make small talk conversation again and get to know if something's changed in their life. So you could ask, where are you working these days? And they might say, oh yeah, actually I'm still working at Google. I've had the same job for the last 5 years. I feel really lucky that I didn't get laid off. So that's where I'm at. And let's say you're talking with someone and you know what job they have. Well, you could ask this question, how's work going? This is similar to asking, how's your family? Or, how was your vacation? This is just a common small talk question about someone's job. How's work going? And maybe they'll just say, oh, it's going fine. Okay, that's fine. But if they give you more information, they might say something like, oh, it's going okay. It was my side gig for a while and then I got hired full time, but I'm having a hard time finding a work or life balance. So I think I'm going to look for something in a different field soon. Oh, well, you just had a great conversation there, and you've got lots more information to be able to have more conversation with someone just from the simple question, how's work going? All right. Now it's time to see a sample conversation using all of these expressions, or many of these expressions that we just talked about. You'll see my husband Adam and me having a little chit-chat about our jobs. I hope that you recognize some of these expressions and questions that we talked about because, in a moment after the sample conversation, it will be your turn to use them and to have a conversation with me. Are you ready? Let's watch. Adam. Hey, Sophia. Where are you working these days? Sophia. Oh, hey, Adam. I run an online business so I can work from anywhere. It's pretty great. Adam. Wow. What's that like? Sophia. Well, I help students learn English and speak with confidence. It's my dream job, but I have to be careful to avoid burning out. Adam. Oh, that's awesome, but I understand. Sophia. What about you? Adam. Well, unfortunately, I just got laid off at the coffee shop when they closed, but I got a job working part-time at a hotel. Sophia. Oh man, that's a bummer. Have you ever worked in marketing? I'm looking for someone to help if you want a side gig, behind the scenes. Adam. That'd be great. Tell me more about it. Sophia. I wonder if Adam will get the job in marketing, working for Sophia. All right, now it is your turn. What I want to tell you is, I will be asking you some questions and having a little conversation, but I recommend going back and reviewing this. You're welcome to pause the video and answer longer if you would like. This is a great chance to have kind of a structured, no-pressure conversation in English. All right, are you ready to get started? Let's imagine we're at a gathering, and the host said, "Oh, Sophia, this is your name." And we get introduced to each other, and then the host leaves. Here we need to have some small talk. So I ask you, tell me, what do you do? And now it's your turn to talk. Go ahead. And what's that like? Do you enjoy your work? Oh, me. Oh, I run an online English business where I teach English online to students around the world. It's really my dream job. I feel pretty lucky. Well, good luck with your work. I'm so glad to meet you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. How did you do? Did you have a chance to speak out loud and practice with me? Feel free to go back and review that last segment or this whole video as many times as you would like to boost your confidence. Because when you have small talk in English, you will absolutely encounter this conversation topic. So how did you do? Do you feel more empowered to talk about your city, your weekend plans, and much more? I hope so. Never forget what you've learned, and thank you so much for learning English with me. I will see you again next day for a new lesson here on my YouTube channel. Bye.